And Major Garrett is in Cincinnati, Ohio this morning. Major, we're now hearing Trump blast these latest allegations of sexual misconduct as part of a vast global conspiracy against him. What stood out to you about the sort of defense that he mounted yesterday?
Well, there was no evidence to refute or even diffuse any of the allegations, just a blanket denial. Now, Mike Pence, Trump's running mate, on CBS this morning implied that there might be some evidence that would surface from the Trump campaign today or maybe sometime later to deal with some of these underlying accusations. But without that yesterday, and oftentimes voters really look at the first reaction from a candidate when the heat is on, and it was quite clearly on yesterday. What they got from Trump was, believe me, I'm denying it. Oh, and by the way, all of this is coming at you for one reason. There's this vast conspiracy. Remember, many years ago, Hillary Clinton talked about a vast right-wing conspiracy. Well, essentially what Trump created was a picture of a vast left-wing conspiracy. Clinton campaign operatives, Clinton supporters, and a compliant and, in his word, corrupt media working hand in glove with this conspiracy to deny Trump supporters the change they seek in Washington. That was the essence, the core of Trump's reaction to all of this. Believe me in my denials, and then turn all of your anger at this conspiracy working to deny you that which you most fervently want in a political context. And I will tell you, for Trump supporters, that works. Whether that number of Trump supporters is anywhere near large enough to have him win this election, we're not certain. But for those who are in the Trump campaign orbit, they love it, and they lapped it up.
They certainly did appear that way in the rally. I want to ask you, we heard Trump say yesterday that this election is, I'm quoting here, moment of reckoning as a society and as a civilization. Do you sense some new urgency from Trump out on the campaign trail yesterday?
This has been coming for the last couple of weeks. Apocalyptic might be too strong a word, but it is moving in that direction. Essentially, Trump saying, if we don't win this election, and he said this last night here in Cincinnati, if we don't win this election, we're going to lose our country. Essentially telling his supporters everything is at stake. And this is to try to motivate an intensity in his supporters, because Trump has said more frequently than he ever has before, look, if you don't register to vote and show up, all of this is not only wasted, but in addition to saying it's a wasted opportunity, saying you may lose your country, like everything is at stake. And Rena, this is my 6th presidential election. I'm more than familiar with the terminology. This is the most important election of our lifetime. That standard rhetoric has sort of taken on this larger-than-life form in Trump rallies. And I would dare say, listening at a distance at Clinton rallies, they describe the choice as that stark as well and that momentous. So both sides are getting it. If you want to achieve the political outcome you seek, you better register and show up. The Clinton campaign, from an operational standpoint, is better organized to achieve that. That's why you hear this fervent pitch from Trump to his supporters to take care of the basics, register, and show up to vote.
Mobilize, mobilize. Last few weeks, I get it. I want to turn to some new polling conducted before this latest string of allegations, but after the release of that 2005 Access Hollywood video. The new numbers show Trump up 1 point in Ohio, but down just 4 in North Carolina. What are the candidate and the campaign? What are they saying about the new polling coming out this week?
Well, the Trump campaign says what every campaign tends to say at the presidential level when the public polling is moving against them. And in battleground states, it's moving against the Trump campaign, and in national surveys, it's moving against the Trump campaign. And their rationale is, well, our internal numbers look better than that. Well, that tends to be true. That was certainly something you heard from the Romney campaign in 2012. In battleground states, you heard the same thing from John McCain in 2008. But public polling, though not always 100% reliable or even close to 100% reliable, is suggesting the race is moving in Hillary Clinton's direction. So what does the Trump campaign know it has to do? Reverse the momentum, stop the bleeding, create a better dynamic around Trump and his candidacy, and move forward to try to achieve gains in battleground states against Hillary Clinton. The only problem for Trump right now is the number of days in this campaign is diminishing, and the battleground keeps expanding. There are more and more states in which Clinton appears to be moving ahead. So it's a huge task for the Trump campaign. They know it, and time's wasting.
Major Garrett, thanks for joining us, Major.
My pleasure.